Hello. How do you make right decisions? We make them all the time, and yet we also make more difficult ones. So today, I'm going to give you 3 steps that will help you make decisions in your life. Plus, if you stick around long enough, I'm going to give you a bonus step as well. Hello, I'm Carol Deshane, your intuitive spiritual guide for practical matters and certified Marconics energy recalibration practitioner. So we make decisions every day. We make a ton of decisions every day. And you might think, no, I don't. I don't have decisions come up all the time. But really, we make decisions every single minute of every day. Because from the time the alarm goes off, if it does, and the decision whether to hit the snooze button or whether to keep, jump out of bed, how long the shower is, to what we're wearing, to what we eat for breakfast, and the route we take to work or wherever you're going in the morning. Those are all decisions we make. And they may seem very small and insignificant. And yet, choosing a different route one day could save you from having a car accident and having something serious happen. But you just don't know what the result is. And you don't generally know your results from your choices until you've made the decision. And sometimes things are really small, and like deciding whether you're going to do the alarm or not. And sometimes they're huge. They're life-changing. It looks like they're going to totally shift your life in a different direction. And sometimes it's really hard to make those decisions because we don't know what's going to happen. So we get really nervous and really unsure of ourselves. Those are the kind of decisions, you know what they are. They're the ones that, do we say yes when somebody asks us to marry them? Or if you're deciding on asking someone, whether you decide what city you're going to live in, whether you take the job or not, what major in college. I mean, it goes back. There's a lot there. And, well, it's true, some people do have an awful lot of trouble making even the smaller decisions. Most of us, those are kind of normal. We don't worry about those so much, but we do have trouble from time to time, at least, with the bigger decisions. And we second guess ourselves sometimes, and sometimes we're good. We have no trouble. So, how do you make the right decision? Well, step 1 that I'm going to give you is, first I want you to look just for a couple of minutes at the ones that didn't work out. What decisions did you make that didn't work out? You know what they are. They're the ones that the consequences were just different than what you thought. They were what you would consider worse, as well as the fact that they were not the outcome you were looking for, sometimes terribly wrong and different than what you were looking for. So I want you to just look at those types that you regret making and look at where they fall in your life. What section of your life are they in? Are they in your business life? Are they in your personal life? You can start there as choices. If you usually make really good decisions in your business life, then don't worry about the occasional shift that maybe didn't work out. Look at the ones that seem to come up over and over again. So if it's in relationships, perhaps it has to do with a specific type or group of people. Is it your children that you don't make the best decisions about? Is it your spouse? Or is it, if you're dating over and over, you're a serial dater, maybe it's you do the same thing over and over and over again, and it's not working out for you. So look at that section and remember that. That's step 1. Just find the section of your life where those decisions that could have been hopefully better or different are the ones that you want to keep in mind for the next 2 steps. Now, step 2 has to do with how you make decisions. How do you make decisions? Are you a logical, step-by-step person? Do you make lists, either in your head or paper or computer, of pros and cons? Or do you perhaps make the like the laundry list kind of thing? These are the things I need to know, I need to have in a house, somebody I'm dating, in a job, and these, do they have them or not? You check them off. So is this job, how is the location? How is the commute time? How are the people? Is there a chance for advancement? And you get to the point where it has everything but maybe one thing. Maybe the commute is 2 hours and you're going, I have a family. I want to see him. Or maybe you say, I'm single. I can move there. It'll be easy. So that could make a huge difference. Just one thing out of that laundry list. But you've thought it out logically. Now, the second type is the emotional person. It's not that you're emotional about it. It's just that you have a feeling nature so you can feel into things. And it comes to you first in a feeling, whether it's in your body or your mind, but it's a feeling about, why did you buy this house? It felt like home. Why did you do that? It felt right. And that's kind of the way you respond to things. With a logical person, they'll say, what do you think? And you'll say, let me sleep on it. I need to think about it. Now, the third type of person, the decision type that you can make, is someone who just knows. They have such a good connection in a different way that they just know. Why did you choose that job? I just knew it was right. Why did you pick that car? I just knew it was the right one for me. Or why did you marry this person? Why did you date this person? I just knew it. I just knew it from the minute I saw them. They were the right person. They don't say I felt it. They say I knew it. So what's the first way that you make a decision? What's the first thing that comes to you when a decision is put in front of you? Do you go to the logical? Do you go to the feeling nature, or do you just know? Now, this is just your first initial hit on making the decision. Part B of step 2 is that sometimes we have a secondary way because we don't trust ourselves. We want to fall back on something just in case this really might not feel quite right. So if, for example, to get you understanding where I'm coming from, if you react with a feeling, this feels right, but it's a big decision, and you go, maybe I better do a pros and cons list. So your fallback might be to think about it. It's the logical thing. What do I do? And maybe if you're normally logical, you fall back to something that's not even one of those three. You fall back to, I don't trust myself. I need to ask my friends, like phone a friend. Do I, what is this? What do they think? Let's get validation from other people because this, I'm not so sure. So sometimes we invalidate our own decisions by asking for people outside of ourselves. And of course, if you're making a decision and you're married or you have a significant other, that it's part of their decision. For heaven's sakes, include them in your decision. But you might want to tell them why you think that it's the right thing after you connect with them. So this is step 1, is what area of your life are decisions that you can make maybe in a better way. Step 2 is, how do you initially come up with a decision? What's the initial reaction? And what's the kind of the fallback? If that one doesn't feel right or you're not too sure, what's the secondary way that you come up with a decision? And with those 2 pieces of information, you can get to step 3. In step 3, you look at those areas in your life. So for example, let's take your kids. I was going to go mother-in-law, but they get such a bad rap. Let's go straight to the kids, okay? Where you make decisions about them and they are just awful. Maybe in business, you do everything logically, step by step. It works great. With your kids, not so much. Every time you try and make a decision, and it's a logical decision, it just is awful. So what I'm asking you to do, if your fallback is feelings, then I'm asking you with that particular instance, it may be that everything else works great on your initial, but on that one, you need to go to your secondary way because it's just a different type of situation. So I'm going to ask you to switch it up. Just try it once, maybe twice, and see how it feels. See what reactions you get from people, depending or on the situation, how it changes. So for example, with your children, if you say suddenly, no, I understand how you feel. I felt that way too when I was a kid, and I really didn't like it. which normally you would try and tell them, well, no, this is the way you need to do it. This way, this way, this way, because this is how it's done. This will make you feel better because of this. Instead, if you connect from the heart in the feeling nature, you may find that all of a sudden people go, excuse me? This isn't you. Who is that person? But if they react well after that, you're going to find that in certain instances, you need to shift the way that you react to making those decisions. And if you always second guess yourself in your decisions that aren't working because they're too big or they're about something that matters so much to you, and you go, I always feel about this, right? Always know. Let's go with no this time. And I need to check in. Maybe I'll check in by doing logical again. That makes me feel better. I need to double check myself. And then those two don't match. The knowingness says one thing, the logical says something else, and you go with the logical. You go with the secondary one, and it doesn't work out. And it's consistently that way. Then you just need to trust yourself more, because whatever connection you have to making those decisions is the one that's going to work best for you. So there we are. Now we're all the way down to that bonus that I told you about. So the bonus, how do you make a right decision? You don't, because ultimately, and you know this, there is no such thing as a right decision. Right or wrong, neither one is true. So just relax. You don't need to worry about it. You don't need to stress. Once you've made the decision, just let it be. Because the only difference is you're taking one path versus the second path. And there'll be different consequences. And if they are what you would consider bad, where you beat yourself up normally and you say, what a stupid decision. Why did I do that? Well, if that's the case, then you don't need to do that this time. Because realize that sometimes those wrong, quotes, path are the things that make our life better in the long run. So many people have told me that they made a decision that seemed really stupid at the time. It was like a faulty decision, and they wish they could go back and change it. And then time passes, and they realize that that path they took made a huge difference to them. Their life was better. They became a different person because of it. They became the person they always wanted to be. Or they found the spouse, the love of their life, that they would never have found if one thing hadn't led to another because of that faulty or bad decision. If you haven't seen the movie like Gwyneth Paltrow is in, that's called Sliding Doors. Sorry, wrong one. It's called Sliding Doors. It's an older movie now, but it's where she makes the tube door, which is in London. So the subway door, it opens, and she doesn't make it in one, and she does in the other. And they show you what happens in her life, the two different ways. And don't you wish you could have that in your life so you could see how that works? But it does show that even though she picked the harder way, that her life ended up being better because she learned, she grew, she became stronger. So remember the steps, the 3 steps. To wrap this up, first, what area of your life are you having a little trouble making those decisions where they come out with the way that you want them to come out? Step 2 is, how do you make your decisions? What's your initial gut response when you have to make decisions? Are you logical, emotional? Are you, or not emotional, feeling nature, or do you just know? Which of these 3 is your gut reaction? And then what's your backup plan? How do you second guess yourself? Or what's your second, I need to look at this a little more because I want to make sure I'm doing this really good. And then step 3 is to check out the thing that didn't work and how you decided. And you can do it going forward too. If you aren't sure, but you just know the area, but you're not sure how you decided, the next time you decide in that area about people or things, realize which way you're going. So that if it doesn't work out, maybe the following time, instead of going with the emotional hit that you have, you go back and you go, let's go with that logical, which was my first way of thinking. Because 90% of the time, the first way of thinking and the first way of decision making is right for you. But sometimes certain people or certain things come up in your life that you have to flip that response so that those are the ones that you can then go, that's the time, and I need to switch it. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Carol Deshane. Please hit the subscribe button. I'd love for you to join my YouTube channel. I am also at www.connecttojoy.com, which you can see in the box below. There you'll find information about Marconics, which is a multidimensional energy. There's a no-touch as well as a recalibration that can happen with that. There's a free guide to 5 steps to effortless quantum leaps, your business and your life. And there's also information on success and prosperity coaching and energy clearing of your home or office. Thank you so much. Until next time, I so much enjoy talking with you. Bye-bye.